Hey there, fellow fans of Downton Abbey. As we count down the days to the third and final movie of the beloved franchise, we've got some exciting updates to share. With the film set to hit theaters on September 12th, 2025, there's plenty to talk about. From the return of fan-favorite characters to the big questions that remain, let's dive in and explore everything we know about this upcoming chapter in the Downton saga. When a franchise reaches its final chapter, fans are always left with a ton of questions about what's to come. And Downton Abbey is no exception. With the third movie officially on the way, it's shaping up to be a pivotal moment in the series. We've got some juicy details and plenty of predictions to make, so let's break down everything that could be in store for the Crawleys and their iconic estate. One of the major developments we're all wondering about is Lady Mary's marriage to Henry Talbot. If you remember from the second film, Downton Abbey, A New Era, Lady Mary really stepped up to keep the family's legacy intact while Henry was away. His absence, explained as being off at a rally in Istanbul, meant that he missed key moments, including Tom and Lucy's wedding and the birth of the Bransons' baby. This gave Lady Mary some space to reflect on her life, and we even saw her remember her late husband, Matthew, in a heartfelt way. So the big question now is whether Mary and Henry's marriage will survive in the next movie. It's possible that the third film will see them part ways, especially considering Henry's prolonged absence and his uncertain return. Could this be the beginning of a new chapter for Lady Mary? We'll have to wait and see. Another interesting development we might see is the blossoming romance between Mrs. Patmore and Mr. Mason. Fans of the series have always sensed a subtle connection between the two, but nothing much ever came of it, until now. Daisy and Andy have taken it upon themselves to help rekindle this relationship, and it looks like we might finally get to see Mrs. Patmore find some happiness with Mr. Mason. It's a sweet and heartwarming development that could bring a satisfying conclusion to Mrs. Patmore's arc. Looking at the broader picture, the third movie will take place in the 1930s, a decade of significant historical upheaval. The 1930s were a time of economic instability, with the threat of war looming. This era is a fitting backdrop for the final chapter of Downton Abbey, as it mirrors the period of transformation the Crawley family faced during World War I. The Crawleys will have to confront these new challenges head-on, adapting to a world that's rapidly changing around them. One major historical event that will play a central role in the third movie is the Great Depression. With the onset of this economic crisis, the Crawleys will face financial difficulties that threaten their way of life. For a family that's used to wealth and privilege, this could be the end of an era. The question on everyone's mind is whether they'll be able to keep their luxurious lifestyle, or if the harsh realities of the 1930s will force them to make difficult decisions. While Maggie Smith's iconic role as the Dowager Countess is no longer part of the equation, there are still plenty of familiar faces fans will be excited to see. Lady Mary, Tom Branson, and potentially even Lady Rose, played by Lily James, could make a return, bringing fresh dynamics and new storylines. The return of these characters promises to keep us on the edge of our seats as we watch the Crawleys navigate their ever-changing world. The biggest question, of course, is whether Downton Abbey itself will survive this financial turmoil. Could the Crawleys be forced to leave their grand estate behind? The looming threat of the Great Depression might mean that not only will they have to part with their home, but it could signal the end of an era for the family. So there you have it. The questions, predictions, and exciting developments for Downton Abbey 3 yarn. As the Crawleys face an uncertain future, we can only wonder how the final chapter will unfold. Will Lady Mary's marriage survive? Will Mrs. Patmore find happiness? And most importantly, will the Crawley family be able to keep their estate intact during these tough times? We'll find out when the movie hits theaters on September 12th, 2025. We'll be keeping an eye out for more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest news and spoilers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.